We came to talk about a movie everybody has been talking about, Star Wars, Episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to see it on actual open day, where Becky here had to wait a little while, which she wasn't 100% happy. But
No.
now we have both seen it, and now we want to talk about it. We'll kind of keep any sort of spoilers to a minimum. There will be spoilers here, so right now is our kind of spoil warning, if you will. So give you 5 seconds. Click on something else before we actually start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, there was your warning. You still here? It's your own fault. So, your impressions on the movie.
Okay, so I. This is what I've been telling everybody. Okay, I love the movie. I loved how they kept to the original Star Wars. You know, I like how they brought back C-3PO and Han and all the main characters. Chewie doesn't age at all, so I think that's just like a Chewbacca thing.
Yeah.
So he looked the same, but
Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of like an animal thing. Like once they get out of there, like once they get into their adult things, I mean, they don't really change.
In fact, I thought he looked a little younger.
Yeah.
I was looking at that. I go, man, they should have aged him just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it was good.
It's an alien thing. We'll never understand.
Yeah. I had some gripes about it.
Who doesn't?
Well, my one gripe was I felt that the movie was rushed along, but again, that's just because they're trying to fit so much into a small time frame, which I don't think us Star Wars fans would have minded a longer movie.
Oh no! If it was if it was longer, I would have just been like, "Sweet, 30 more minutes of this stuff, awesome."
Well, that's what I was thinking because when they rushed it, like what's her name, Ren, right? She was all gung ho for BB-8 going back to the rebellion area to find his master.
The Resistance.
The Resistance.
Which is weird. I want to talk about the whole Resistance and Rebellion after she's done. Sorry.
Yeah. And so she was all gung ho for that. And then they get to that little cantina where she finds the Luke's lightsaber, okay? And so then she like gets all like anti wanting to help. Like she just like runs and bolts. Well, I gotta go back to my home planet, you know, I'm waiting for somebody who's gonna be there to pick me up or meet me there, you know, her parents are gonna come back. But she like totally abandoned her mission that she was like totally set forth on, and was like, okay, BB-8, you need to go back, you know, go on back, you know. She just like totally left. And I was trying to analyze it, that it could be fear of connecting with new set of people that she started caring about, or fear that she had a realization that, my opinion, that she knew Luke was her father because of what she saw. But what I saw was Luke's her dad. I know that. I mean, there's like no other ways around it.
Yeah,
that's
there's a
her
few
dad.
stipulations. I mean, it won't really. If that's the case, then they're kind of going off of the actual Star Wars lore in the comic books that they've already set up.
Yeah.
I think he has a son in those comic books. And frick, I can't remember what happens to him. No, I think he has two sons in the comic book. I think one dies and one turns to the dark side for some weird reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I haven't read the comics. I should. I should get up on that.
Yeah, but then you start reading one, and then it just goes.
You have to read everything.
It's just.
Well, then here's the other thing. I know Dark Horse did a comics called it was the Rebellion comics series, and there was a girl that resembled Ren that was the main leader, but she was bad from what I gathered. So I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot to go on. But I just felt it was kind of like Anakin, like when Anakin turned to the dark side, he just like 1 minute one here, 1 minute there. It was kind of like Ren. 1 minute she was here, 1 minute she abandoned. So I just felt like that was rushed. I know they had to
probably
cut it.
Like I didn't mind it so much like you, but like I understand how people won't like the way that they kind of rushed it, and like I mean, I thought the scene was fine. It told a pretty good portion of her backstory. Or well,
For me, it made it clear. Luke's her dad.
yeah,
That was it. I mean, like she can will his lightsaber.
yeah.
That it was talking. It called her.
Well, it was more of the
was-
Force than the lightsaber.
Well, yeah.
Because I mean, in Jedi mythology, it's the Force that's actually their weapon.
Mhm.
The lightsaber is just a physical thing that they use.
Yeah.
It's like Buddhist monks. The reason they can kick so much ass is because they're all Zen and able to like Cheeto chop their way through things, but
yeah.
they also practice with swords and knives and things because there's only so much that you can actually do with just your hands. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get it.
But I mean, yeah, obviously they kind of showed, hey, maybe she's Luke's daughter because of how strong her connection to the Force is.
Mhm. Well, somebody was telling me that they felt that Han and Leia had a child, and that she would have been the twins.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no,
No,
because they kept saying our son. They never
Yeah.
said anything about
Our
our
daughter.
children,
Yeah.
our daughter.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of theories out there going around, but I loved it. I loved her as an actress. She's great.
Oh
I
no,
loved
her
character.
and the black guy that they got to play. Frick, what was his name?
Ben.
At first, when I first saw the trailers, I thought he's only in there because they need a token black guy. They are filling in racial stereotypes because it's Hollywood. Big shock, but the guy actually did good. I was quite astonished about that.
Well, here's a question. Now, I've seen it twice, and he was saying that he was taken from his parents and put into, forced to be a trooper.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody, again, speculation, somebody has said that they thought that would his parents have been Lando?
Yeah, that's actually quite an interesting thought there. Unfortunately, we don't see Lando in here, so we can't.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. We have to wait.
Lando Calrissian.
We have to wait for episode 8 to come out before that goes on. So we have to get through Rogue One, which hopefully that's good.
I think it will be, because
Yeah.
Luke's going to be in it. I love Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's quite good.
he
He
is
actually did a documentary on the entire way that they did the whole lightsaber duels.
Did he really?
Yeah, it's lightsaber duels are all like the lightsabers fighting style. It's all based on kendo. For those of you who don't know, kendo is the way of the sword in Japan, and it's how pretty much all samurai fought back then.
Really?
Yeah, it was quite interesting actually watching it because it was just like, so that kind of explains how the whole fighting style and everything. Obviously, every Jedi has their own style. Count Dooku is more of a fencing kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
Ian McGregor is more of a knight kind of style. Like he's like kind of way, and everyone has their own style in it, which is cool. It's really nice and drawn out there. But every all the fights are always at least based off of the kendo,
Okay.
off of kendo.
So what were you saying? Rebellion and
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
What did you tell me
So
about
it was
this?
okay. So episode 7 is supposed to be 30 years after the Empire is done and dealt with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means 30 years of no Empire, which should have meant 30 years of no rebels. And then the first sons come along. Why is there a resistance again? I mean, I would get it.
Republic.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just go back to being a republic. You don't have to be a resistance.
Because they still had the Republic, right?
Yeah,
At the same time.
If somebody, states in the comments or something about, oh, well, it had to be because the republic can't be linked to it, so.
I looked at them
it's
as
this
kind of
way.
like the fighting army.
Yeah, it's
for like the Republic would be the government, and then the rebellion is like the fighting army, like the armies and the Marines and stuff.
Yeah,
they're with it, but yet they're their own separate entity taking care of the galaxy.
It's just kind of weird the way that they say it. A lot of other people have said it's just like, well, why is it called the Resistance if the first son hasn't actually conquered everything?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they haven't. They've probably conquered the outer rim at best of that galaxy, but it's really kind of confusing when you think about it, but it's quite fun.
And here's a food for thought. You think the planet that the Ewoks were on, it's Endor, right?
Yes.
Do you think that survived after they blew up the Death Star?
Yes, I believe so because Endor didn't really serve after everything was said and done, Endor wasn't really that strategic to the First Sons. I mean, they kind of already built a planet, Death Star. It's just like, here's Death Star, bam, there's
But I heard that they were the closest to the Death Star when it blew up.
Yeah, but that was because it had the shield on it.
So did Endor have a shield on it to protect it?
No, the shield was already on the planet protecting it itself.
Oh, okay. Because you would think Death Star blew up, shrapnel.
Well, obviously there'd be shrapnel coming down, but I mean, we're talking, it's the core, so it blew up. I mean, probably big chunks came down from the Death Star, but like the smaller entities that did get caught in its gravitational pull probably burned up on entry.
So yeah, I only bring it up because do you think they're going to bring the Ewoks back? My favorites.
I mean, I guess it would kind of be cool. If they do though, it has to be a smart way. Because, let's face it, if they did bring back something like that, it'd actually have to be done a correct way, not like Jar Jar or something like that.
You better not ever come back. You know, I was watching something online, and there was a guy who had something that he posted, and he broke down every Star Wars movie now and linked Jar Jar to every movie ever made, and he is like the evil Empire. Jar Jar is manipulating, and he is gonna be the demise of it all. And Jar Jar is it.
I don't buy it. I mean, it's just I kind of question why. I always question why they brought in Jar Jar. Like, what real reason did they bring him in for?
Comic relief is the only thing I thought of for the kids.
I mean,
but here's the other.
Lisa step in doo doo. Ee.
I know, so stupid. Here's another thing. Okay, you know the big emperor or that's sitting on the chair. What did they call him?
I think just Emperor. I can't catch.
Do you think that he?
Put the name down in the comments below so that way we know.
Yeah. because I can't think of it off the top of my head. Do you think that is Emperor Palpatine?
No.
Because he got thrown off?
No.
Who do you think that is? Because
It's probably
somebody
a
had to
new-
rise in that 30 years.
Well, in the Sith myth, there is always two, a master and a pupil.
Okay,
There can only ever be two. I'm thinking he's a Dark Lord.
Okay.
So he's like Palpatine, but stronger. I think he's probably the Dark Yoda, in a sense.
Okay.
So
Because I was trying to analyze who he was. I was
Yeah.
like, well, maybe Palpatine could have lived. I mean, they never went on to talk about anything else that happened to him.
yeah.
He got
Well,
thrown
I mean,
off.
he
and
got
that
thrown
was it.
off, and then he was still in the Death Star as it blew up. So I mean,
I was just thinking maybe he
if
got
he
away.
lived, it had to be some Deus Ex Machina kind of thing, where it's, he got thrown off straight into a pit of bomblessness, blown up with the Death Star, through space where there's no air, and then probably got caught up in the gravitational pull and burnt on re-entry. We're humans. We cannot sustain the force actually to go in on a re-entry. We will burn up right into it.
What did you think of Millennium Falcon coming back in?
The way they did it was so good.
I know.
The way they did it was just like, yes.
I love
it. Was. So, for those who don't know, here's another spoiler warning. So, they're running away from the new TIE Fighters. TIE Fighters 2.0. And they're running into an old shipyard. And Finn goes, what about that one? And then Rhea goes, no, that's a piece of junker. And then another ship came up, and the TIE Fighters blew it up. And they were like, junker it is. And you fight, and you pan around to it, and it's just like, the Millennium Falcon.
I know, and it had like drapes and stuff hanging on it.